In this video, we're going to talk about how New World could actually get players back right now. Now, we're not going to ask them to drastically change the end game or really do anything coding wise. I'm going to suggest things that they could do with the technology that they have available. And this is in contrast to what we're seeing with this double XP month, which if I'm honest is quite a weak offering, even though I am quite grateful for it. I just don't think we're seeing any kind of initiative to get players back, and that's okay, but we'll talk about that at the end. Now, if you are a player who is dissatisfied with the end game and you're thinking about not playing as much, that's fine. Probably best if you guys just take a break. What I'm talking about here are players who played in the past, or maybe new players who are considering getting into the game. I basically want to throw those guys a bone, and we'll leave the end game to be a different topic. And the first thing I would like to see is for the leveling to be completely nerfed. And that could mean maybe something like having double XP literally just all of the time. Because a lot of us who are already 60, I personally don't mind if you nerf the progression to 60. Now, there will be some people out there who are like, oh, it took me ages to get to 60. Why should the people who come after have an easier time? Well, it's because we actually want the players to play the game, right? We don't want to put people off. And the investment that you need in an MMO is already quite high. You need to level to max level. Then you need to get your expertise up to 600. Then you need to actually get some good gear. Then you need to get your gear score up to 625. Like, it's already quite a big step. So just getting the catch-up mechanics so that people who've come behind would be reasonable right now, I think. The game's been out something like 8 months. Drastically changing the leveling experience would be okay. Now, I mentioned how you could literally just do double XP for the entire time. That'd be fine. You could, in a different way, just rework the leveling again so that it's much quicker. I know they keep doing that. It keeps being like slight buffs to it, basically, so it's a bit quicker and a bit quicker and a bit quicker. But I just want to see like a massive change. Make it so it's very quick. Because quite frankly, anybody who wanted to experience New World like leveling up has already done it. If you're coming in now, well, one, you can't do the dungeons and stuff like that. Two, there's nobody around your level anyway. And three, the leveling experience in New World, let's face it, is not all that great. And at the same time I would announce something like this, I would just sell boosts. I would sell XP boosts and get it over with. Now, I know that's controversial, and it is even for me. Personally, I don't like the idea of boosts. I think you should make it so your leveling experience is fun, and you make it so if it's not fun, you make it so it's quicker, right? But New World is an exception at the minute, that it's literally like one of the only main MMOs, if you can call it that these days, that doesn't have boosts. I personally would announce that, okay, we're making leveling extremely easy, and for those of you who don't want to do that, well, we're going to sell you a boost. I would begrudgingly accept that. And weirdly, I think what they could do at the same time is say, hey, what we're actually going to do is lower the price of the game, and then you can buy the game and a boost for the same level that the people who bought the game for already did. That'd be a nice way of like easing it in. Now, I've spoke about boost before. I don't know if I want to see like a 0 to 60 boost. That might feel a little bit awkward. Or if I just want to see something like XP potions that only work up till 60, I don't want them to work in an expansion. As I said, I know boosts are controversial, but let's face it, we need to cut out the leveling experience for those people because there's already a big long path ahead of them. If you're a new player, you look at the journey and the investment that's required and you think that's probably too much for me to do. I think I used this example on a stream. If somebody says, I want you to invest in my business for $5, maybe I go, okay. But if somebody says, I want you to invest in my business for $1,000, I'm like, oh, that's a bit much. And I think that sort of applies to New World and MMOs in general. How much time does the player have to invest to get to the content that they think they want to do? Which, let's face it, is the end game, whether or not you think New World's end game is all that hot or not. So I won't go on about it. I just think the leveling should be like completely nerfed. Especially like 8 months after the game has come out. I think it's reasonable. Be it through changes in the XP curve or even boosts, as I said. And the next thing I would do is I would say that Gypsum is now 2 times as strong. So the expertise that you get from Gypsum is double. I'd make it so that the maximum is 10 and the minimum is 5. Just completely half that grind. And that will just make it so players feel like they can catch up. They still will have to do the Umbral Shard system when they get there. They still will have to get like decent gear when they get there. But if you completely reduce the expertise grind, again, that path that's ahead of players will look smaller, and it will be smaller, and that might get players back. And that might get players back who are maybe like level 50 odd, 40 odd, or something like that. It might get players back who are maybe gear score 525 or expertise 525. It's all about getting players back by making it easier for them. Now, a lot of you be like, but Jay, it's an MMO. It should be hard. It was hard for us. Meh, I just don't agree with that. Like, I think we'd rather have the numbers rather than our, like, I don't know, maybe like moral position, our basic like grandstanding. Let the players catch up. It's not a problem. It doesn't hurt us. If we all gear score 625 like I am, it doesn't hurt me if people are getting to where I am quicker. It helps me because there's more people playing. So yeah, I would very much just like improve the expertise grind by making that quicker, by essentially giving more expertise per gypsum, maybe even more likely to get expertise bumps in dungeons and stuff like that as well, more likely to get expertise from outpost rush caches as well. Just anything and everything. Just announce that you're making it easier to get to the place where everybody already is, or where most people already are. I appreciate not everybody is there, but you know what I mean. Make it easier, I think. And then along with that, and this might be a bit too much, but I would also add a gear score 590 or gear score 600 set to the faction vendor, because quite clearly the PvP rewards are not actually giving like consistent gear. You'd have to like go up that track and it's a bit random, but one way that you could make it less random is to give 590 faction gear with resilient and refreshing or something. I don't know, just like generic gear score 590, make it relatively high cost in the faction tokens because you can get a lot of faction tokens quite quickly these days, and then obviously you can make them so they're upgradable to legendary. Maybe don't even give them a third perk. I don't think anybody would complain about that, but just let people have like sort of like easy catch up gear as well. And I think the faction vendor is a very obvious way of delivering that to people. Like obviously these suggestions here are not going to fix the game long term. That's not what I'm like even suggesting. And of course if you get people into a game that they're not going to like, that would be a problem. But let the people who want to be playing play and let them catch up. I think I said on a live stream yesterday, what ideally I think New World should be doing in the long term is they need to make the experience that we're all experiencing now before an expansion just okay and good, and they should maybe even extend that period of time whilst they work on an expansion, and that expansion needs to be absolutely amazing, because that will be the true test of when New World gets a second chance. Players will give it a second chance, but they might not give it a third chance. But what I'm suggesting here is let some players give it a first or second chance if they actually like the game. Like if you played the game to level 40, I see this quite a lot on forums. A lot of people will be like, I'm level 40, is it worth me coming back? Let them test it for themselves by making it easier for them to catch up. I don't really see any harm in that. These like double XP month that we're getting, yeah, it's nice and it's better than nothing, but splitting it out like this, you're not going to get any like hype in the game. It's literally just going to cater to the people who are already playing, which is fine, but I don't think it's necessarily even like going to affect the metrics in any way, shape or form. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Monday to Thursday everybody will be online grinding weapons. Who knows? Maybe I'll be proven wrong in that sense. So I know I've said some controversial things, like I said I want like XP boosts in the cash store. Just keep in mind that's not my preferred way of doing it. I just think that it's inevitable and that they should just get it out of the way at the same time that they make leveling way easier. Maybe they reduce the price of the game and then they sell the boost so it's actually cheaper than what we all paid for it. Like there's ways of doing that in a PR way that I think would actually be healthy for the game. But I like the fact that New World pretty much has the best cash shop of any game right now. I think that's great, and if they want to maintain it, fine, but they should maintain it and still make leveling like way easier. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure you will. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.